a podcast your mama warned you about. Did ya hear me?
Hello everybody, welcome to episode 24 of Did You Hear Me, the Griffey episode. I'm here, as always, with PackMan.
Hello, happy St. Patty's Day.
With his bling, we'll get to that in a second. You got the sheriff.
Yes, may the wind always be at your back and the sun upon your face.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm feeling green.
Already off to a very thoughtful start to the episode. And we're joined by our special guest tonight. Very happy to have him here. He's been mentioned on the show, submitted some questions, so we'll call him a friend of the show. The Legal Eagle, Ethan.
Man, I'm pumped up to be here, guys. Appreciate you having me. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody.
That's right. St. Patrick's Day. Everybody's got some form of green on. The sheriff slid in with a sliver, some may say.
Just the slightest amount of green.
They say black is slimming. And we have a very, very illustrious guest, so I want to look slim.
Well, I appreciate you thinking of me like that.
Because I have everybody on the panel by maybe 100.
You never know when we're going to go to battle, so we need somebody.
Need the meat shield.
Yeah, we need, you know, as they always say, we need girth.
Pause.
That's what Javi Lopez said.
That's
Harking
right.
back to Frenchy blues.
There you go. Well, we're glad to have the Legal Eagle here. We'll get to his nickname here in just a little bit. Touch on that, but you brought us a St. Patty's Day themed drink of the week. Go ahead and tell us what you got.
I did. So it is the Fighting 69th Regiment Irish Whiskey. And I'm going to tell you guys, I spent it probably was close to 25 minutes in the aisle at Jay's this week.
A lot of pressure.
It was a lot of pressure, you know, for those that have come before me to kind of hold up to what they brought before me. But with St. Patrick's Day, of course, it had to be something Irish. And a shout out to the Fighting 69th, whoever they were.
Yeah,
I'm not completely sure.
They were fighting.
They were.
You couldn't tell which way they were going. They were just fighting and flipping around.
Hey, maybe it had nothing to do with military. I have no idea.
Fighting for reciprocity, maybe.
I'm sure we could read the back, but we're not going to do it right now.
I need the bleep button ready.
It's a product of Ireland, so very fitting. We've already had some pours here. Had it chilling a little bit because it came in.
Yes.
I don't know. I like mine chilled, so we've had it chilled. So let's go ahead and have a sample of this.
Good toast.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers, guys.
Salute.
Salute.
That long arm of the law.
Oh, there we go. Wow, that makes you want to fight.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to punch somebody right now.
The Legal Eagle is going straight to the top of the list, baby.
This isn't
Mix up all these beer people and get them out of the way.
This isn't Conor McGregor's. Is this Conor McGregor's?
No.
No, his is
12.
Yeah, proper
12. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like I said, I'm not going to read the bottle because that's not great podcasting.
Yeah.
That's what we're all about too.
Right.
Great podcasting. We are. We're very proud to be the #1 ranked podcast on the east side of Athens, hosted by 3 men around the age of 40. That is listened to by dozens of people. So we're glad to have that rank.
That's it.
And we're not letting go of it.
Dozens and dozens.
Dozens and dozens. We're never letting go either. So, the Legal Eagle, his nickname gives a little bit insight into the world that he's in. Are you an attorney or are you a lawyer?
Well, they're synonymous. They're the exact same thing. So I guess the answer is I am both of those things.
I think that's a good answer, both.
Answered like a lawyer, I guess.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Yeah.
I was going to say, how legal of an answer.
Right.
Yeah, to lowly people like us, we're like, man, he's both. One extra year.
Just like a lawyer, I'm not going to directly answer your question. I'm just going to cause more confusion.
There you go.
Yeah.
Where does Esquire come in the legal world?
Well, it's essentially also the same thing. You know, lawyers, we like ourselves so much, we want to give ourselves as many titles as we possibly can.
Yeah.
Attorney, lawyer, Esquire.
Okay, because I've heard of some firms, you know, so-and-so Esquire, attorney at law.
Good movie.
Like a lot of words.
Yeah, you know, as many descriptors as possible. The more you have, the more important you seem.
Yeah.
Even though lawyers are, honestly, probably some of my least favorite people on the planet.
Wow.
If we're being straightforward about it.
A lot of self-loathing in the morning,
You know,
in the mirror.
Right, exactly. Sometimes you wake up and it's tough to put one foot in front of the other if you're a lawyer. But yeah, all the names they mean the same thing, which really isn't much.
No, it means something, that's for sure.
To somebody.
That's a good homework assignment for the listeners. Roman J. Israel, Esquire, starring my man, Denzel. Speaking of Esquire,
Okay.
that's one of his. I think that's a lower
Stat guy went deep on
the
that.
lower end, but it is awesome.
I like
He's
a good Denzel movie.
He is an attorney, and now I've learned a lawyer as well.
There you go. And an Esquire.
Yes,
Yes, all of them.
that's what reminded me.
Yeah.
Simple brain over here in the corner.
Yes. So you did undergraduate work at Penn State, is that correct?
I sure did, yeah.
Is that where you're from?
I grew up in Pennsylvania. I moved to Pennsylvania when I was 8 years old and lived there all the way up until I went to.
Worked in the steel factory? I'm sorry to steal your thunder.
I actually worked at a stone quarry, believe it or not. I worked at a stone quarry with a crew entirely comprised of Amish men. I know it sounds like I'm making this up, and I'm already getting a little off topic here, but I did in fact do that in Pennsylvania, but no steel work. Yeah, I went to college at Penn State where I got an English degree. Which is about as useful as the piece of paper that they give it to you on.
So you had to do something else.
Right, basically
Yeah.
there was no choice but to continue my schooling at that
Okay.
point. And so came down to UGA to attend their esteemed law school.
Very esteemed. Put a pin in that. Let's go back to the Amish. So you were yeah. Like full Amish had they rode their buggies.
110% Amish. They honestly, if you shave the mustache, most of them look pretty much just like you.
Hey, good people then.
But yeah, so they worked for my father-in-law. My father-in-law owns a stone quarry in Pennsylvania that sends stone everywhere in the country. And basically what happened is that at about 5 or so in the morning, a guy had to drive a big van to where they live, pick them all up, because obviously they could not drive to the quarry.
Is that even? They can do that though? They can ride in a vehicle as long as they're not the one?
That's right. They can ride in a vehicle. And I will
Seems like
say,
cheating.
it does seem like cheating a little bit. And I got a little bit of a peek behind the old Amish curtain because sometimes they would ask me, have you seen this movie or have you seen that movie? I kind of say, well, have you? I think that's the better question. I didn't even know about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a crew of, I think, probably 15 or so guys who were all a lot stronger and more hardworking than I was. So I just had to do my best to keep up.
Pack has gone to the chaser over here, and I'm loving it.
Shout out to the special agent who knew I was the least manly man in the room and provided me a mixer for my drink.
All right, I only have a couple more questions. This is not supposed to be the Amish
The
episode.
beard, is he clear that the beard is equal to the killer instinct? Is he familiar with that discussion that we had? So he was riding around with a lot of killer instinct.
Of course he was. I mean, those Amish, I guess what I was
Very handy.
Yes. What I was taken aback by is that they have to have jobs. I thought they all just farmed.
Well, they do that. They certainly do that. This particular job was for the Amish guys a pretty sought after job. Because compared to any work that they could do in farming or whatever it was that they did at home, they could get paid significantly better.
Okay.
So it was sort of the job that as the younger Amish guys were getting older, they wanted that, and it's kind of interesting because it's a little bit like Amish Mafia almost. There's one guy that is the lead guy. He leads the whole crew, and he also hand selects who from, I can't think of a better term to say than village. It's not really a village per se, but he selects. He says you're out, you're in, you're out, you're in.
Jebediah, you're in. Zechariah, hit the road.
You're slacking. You're
You're a
out.
little slurry over there for the Amish.
So, yeah, you're right. So,
Could be John.
Athens, the chicken plant here has a similar ban, but it's because the people they're picking up don't have licenses.
Oh, we went there.
And they're still intoxicated. And that's a true story. I'm not making fun. I literally have met a couple of them, and they said as long as you're not too drunk to pick up chickens, and they'll pick you up in the van and take you to work.
Do they run you through the walk and turn before you hang chickens, or
No,
how's that work?
it's the honor system.
Okay.
As long as you can see one chicken and not two, I think you're good. But the van comes around, picks them up. Same situation.
2 out of 8 clues is like, hey, you're on chemical duty today. It's 4 out of 8. You're like,
Yeah, and these are the chicken catchers, not the ones operating machinery. Chicken catching, you might need to be drunk to do that
I
job.
was
It's a
just going
very
to say, I
hard
think
job.
that's how I would prefer my chicken to be made, by the drunkest person there. I mean,
It's kind of like a brine,
yeah,
right?
right.
Right.
That's it.
I had some Rocky Balboa vibes there. Where I think that's Rocky 1 or 2.
Oh,
where
punching the
he's-
meat?
he's-
All right.
Go with that.
Come on.
Mickey makes him catch a chicken, but if you want to go there,
No.
meat puncher, you go right ahead.
I was thinking about the cow swinging.
Yes, he did that too, but that was later on.
All right, I digress.
Sorry, I got
Okay.
on a rocky rabbit hole on.
All right, we'll stop the Amish talk. It's very interesting, though, that you actually had contact with these people, because
Quite a bit.
these people, I know.
Jebediah might be listening this week.
He could be sneaking in a transistor radio and finding us on some dial somewhere. Because my only interaction with the Amish was a field trip, and we're not allowed to take pictures or anything. And then come to find out they're watching movies, riding in bands. Anyway, interesting. So the reason I wanted to bring up I wanted you to mention your Penn State. You also brought another gift that we're not, temperature-wise, we're able to bring to the Boom Boom room. So go ahead and tell us what you brought as a gift.
Yeah, so I brought, one of my favorite things to give to folks that I respect, some Penn State Creamery ice cream. And the creamery at Penn State is a facility that they have there. Penn State is basically in the middle of nowhere. It's sort of just mountains and fields and farmland, things like that. So right adjacent to the campus, they have a whole agricultural area. There's actually part of the college where they have an agricultural program and they have a food sciences program. So they raise all these cows as best they can, milk them, send everything over to the food science program, where they then make the ice cream and sell this ice cream that is sort of, at this point, I want to say world renowned. When college game days at State College, they're always at the creamery. So I brought 3 pints of creamery ice cream for each of you to enjoy as you see fit.
Yeah, it's in my freezer right now, waiting for the end of the episode. If the special agent hasn't gotten through all 3
one
pints.
down.
Yeah, the largest spoon should be down there.
So, no, I appreciate you bringing that. That's pretty neat that they make it all
cool.
there. You were telling me, this is the first time they're hearing this, but you had told me this story before. There's only, if you go to the shop, you can only get one flavor, right?
That's right.
Except
there's no mixing flavors. So if you go in and say, I want a dish and I want peachy paterno and mint, no, it's not going to happen.
Peachy paterno.
There was one fellow that they let mix flavors, and it was none other than Bill Clinton, who I mentioned to Sleezy. It was not the first time he had mixed flavors.
That's it.
In his history.
Yep.
So yeah, Bill Clinton was the only one allowed to mix flavors at the creamery.
Does he know what the definition of flavor is? Because he's about the definitions.
that's right.
Which I commend the man for trying to find the fine print.
Had to do what he had to do.
What the act actually was.
That's it.
It was a great time in our country's history.
The knees were quivering for
I
sure.
mean, at this point, it seems like, with the way things are going in the country, maybe we're kind of desperate for just a small scandal like that.
Yeah, right, yeah.
That's right.
That's tame stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking back on it, that really wasn't that big of a deal,
Right.
considering what we've gone through in the past 20 years.
Yeah.
So I'm going to, admittedly, good segue from Bill Clinton. This is going to be a low blow. What flavor did Sandusky have at the ice cream shop? Jerry Sandusky.
Man.
Well,
I think it's
I
been
gotta say,
discontinued.
Definitely was something youth themed.
every time, every time someone makes a joke like that to me, I say, you're better than that. That's low-hanging joke fruit.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
Burger BC, a colleague of ours,
That's
is
right.
big on the Sandusky jokes.
Yes.
And people are sometimes surprised to find out that I was actually, I better be careful about defining there.
Tread carefully.
I was enrolled at Penn State when all that came out and all the
Good
riots happened.
Yeah.
And sort of
So you
got to
witnessed
see-
all this firsthand.
Well,
I mean,
Not all of it.
had some sort of the reaction to this coming out and Joe Paterno being fired, and there were riots a couple nights in a row. A lot of work for the State College Police there for a couple nights in a row, and students that were not me were flipping news vans.
Not you.
Yeah.
You were there
Absolutely not.
as the man of reason.
I'm clearly not strong
Let's
enough
not
to
flip
flip
two
vans.
news vans. Just keep it at one, guys.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, I gotta say, if I were going to critique those students, they actually, I was very close by when they flipped the van. I saw it from probably 15 or 20 yards away, oddly enough.
War
and
zone.
It was, and they chose to flip, of all vans, they flipped a local news van.
Aw.
And I'm like, y'all should at least pick like a
Yeah,
CNN or a
right.
Fox News
Yeah.
van and flip that thing. They got 100 more of those vans somewhere. This local news station has suffered a real setback.
I probably put them out of business.
Yeah.
They had to use the
Juvenile delinquents.
cameraman's truck for the next couple of weeks to haul everything around. Because that all happened. So actually, some people probably don't know what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
that's what I was gonna
Jerry
say.
Sandusky was involved in a child molestation, we'll say.
Correct.
Using
Correct.
using his power at Penn State University, and he had a charitable organization that gave him access to kids. Really horrible situation that he was acting in alone, as far as part of the, as far as we know. And that was going on for years, but then when it came to light, everything really blew up in a short amount of time.
Yeah, you know, it wasn't really until, I guess, I shouldn't say many years later, but potentially many years later that it all came out. There was a report in a newspaper, I believe from the Williamsport, Pennsylvania area, that talked about all this, and things went downhill very quickly.
Yes, because Joe Paterno went from being, who was the Penn State football coach, one of the most celebrated coaches in football history. Now he's not mentioned.
The face
I've
of
noticed.
the sport.
Yeah.
He was the face of the sport.
Yeah, they've sort of phased him back in at
Okay.
Penn State to the video tributes and things like that. There have been some movements to name the field. You know, I think it's Dooley Field at
Right.
Sanford
Yeah.
Stadium, to have Paterno Field at Beaver Stadium.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, the mystery of the statue. They tore down his statue there at Penn State, and nobody knows where it's at. What they did with it.
I was going to mention that because it, you know, was removed, and now, yeah, like you said, there's no, what happened to it?
It's anybody's. Maybe it's somewhere with the Amish. I don't know. Yeah. Who knows? Who knows? It's anybody's
Might
guess.
be on Macon Highway with another statue.
Could be. Yeah, my personal opinion on Joe Paterno is he did report it to the higher ups, but you know, he still let the guy coach. I don't know how you feel about that.
Well, you know, the way I think about it, and what I've always said, is that he did report it, I think, to all the people that he was supposed to report it to. The one thing he did not do is, you know, to pick up the phone and call the direct line of the police department.
Yeah.
I don't know that most people
Who trusts those guys?
Yeah, you know, exactly. I try not to rub elbows with too many police officers if I can, as you can tell here. No, I mean, I think it would be kind of almost unusual for him to have picked up the phone and called the police chief or something like that. I think he expected
Especially
his supervisors would do that.
Yeah, as college football politics go, yes, you don't want that type of attention brought to your university. You know, that's what the higher ups are supposed to do. They're supposed to take care, make decisions to not have to go to the police.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of a scenario where a head coach has done it. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
even here, I mean,
to be, yeah.
Georgia's had its, you know, share of drama, and it's not like Kirby's calling the police and saying,
Or anybody on his
Yeah,
staff,
right.
tell anybody that there's a murderer that they know who murdered a racetrack
right,
employee.
right.
I mean,
yeah, that's just
to keep it fair, you know.
Sounds pretty cryptic there.
That's not at all. I've been pretty vocal about that. It's
Yes,
pretty
he's been
embarrassing.
very vocal
It's
about
very
the,
embarrassing.
graduate assistant
Who's still
and the
employed.
former player.
Anyways, we've mentioned that in a former episode.
Did
but,
we, Mr. Sandusky was the linebackers coach and then was later promoted to the defensive coordinator position.
yeah. But he's still alive, right?
He is alive. He is,
Yeah,
I
kill
doubt,
him off.
thriving in a prison in Pennsylvania somewhere, but he is in fact alive.
I think I saw something recently. He was trying to get an appeal, maybe on
Check with
something.
the stack.
Isn't that what everybody does?
I was just going to say, like everybody who got caught doing something wrong, exhausting the appeals process, certainly.
Yeah. So I don't know a whole lot about the appeals process, but I know if the decision does not go your way in court and you have money, you're going to appeal. Or if you have representation from the state, you're going to appeal. Is that correct? Can anybody
Yeah,
appeal?
Well, yes and no, basically. A defendant.
lawyer.
Right,
Thank
another
you,
lawyer
Ed.
answer.
Thank you, counsel.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
All right, Esquire, tell us.
Yeah.
All the 7 years of education to say yes and no.
Yeah.
A defendant in a criminal case, you know, when convicted or when a decision is made against him, almost always has the right to appeal that to a higher court until you've exhausted that process. So, you know, a lot of times you get convicted of trial, that is by no means the end of the story. There will be some further litigation of the issues. It's interesting, it's really the state in a lot of instances, us sitting here, that is sort of without recourse when things don't go. If we try a criminal case and the person's found not guilty, there's no right for the state to appeal that. That's the end of the story. It's over.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It almost seems like if you're a defendant and you've been found guilty and you're appealing, you should wait as long as possible. Because like time is almost your friend. Like by the time it gets to some higher courts, it's been so long. Like I know Esquires would never admit this because it's all about fact and all that, but it loses like its emotion, and you're just looking at these black and white pieces of paper 10 years later. In some cases, it seems like.
Or if, in the case of, you know, maybe juvenile victims, speak a la Sandusky, they're adults by the time things come around. And if somebody, let's say, does win an appeal, a former co-worker of ours is in a situation,
Very true.
you know, is the victim going to be willing to like go through all this trial again? They did it once.
So just to not mention names, I don't know why we're not, but Anyways,
I mean,
the former coworker was convicted of I don't even know what the crime was, underage. Yeah, and then he won an appeal after 3 years in prison.
Yep.
Got released pending a new trial, but those juvenile victims who were old teenagers at the time are pretty much adults by this point.
Right. So would they even
they
want to
go
go
through that
again? Right.
I
So
wouldn't.
then, right. So, you know, I don't. And now, granted, not everybody wins their appeal, obviously,
Correct.
but in this case, he did. So it's like, you know, what happens from here? And then, well, we won't get into district attorney talk and all that.
It's just interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna answer yes or no if we're going with that.
Yeah.
Or just say I gotta pee. We're not endorsing, or what's the opposite of endorsing?
No, we're just
opposing.
We're not
just an observation. That's all.
Good man here.
Speaking of observations, Sheriff, you made an observation on your way in here in the boom room tonight. What did you see parked outside?
I did. There was my park here. The sheriff sign must have got knocked over.
Oh, both your spaces were taken.
Yes. 2 signs were knocked over by 2 electric vehicles.
He's sensitive about his parking space.
Nah, I'm not sensitive about anything.
Yeah, 2 electric vehicles.
Wait a minute. Not sensitive about anything. Says the guy who held a grudge for weeks about not going to.
That's true. Mabry Street is an exception. When you're 13 minutes away.
Okay. All right. Anyway.
But other than that, most of the time, if somebody gets a tongue lashing from me coming through the door, and Pack did get one, was probably because of whatever apocalyptic episode I left at the house.
Yeah, sometimes that carries over.
But we're 2 for 2 with Big Brain not yelling.
Hey, progress. That's what we're all
Well,
about.
she still yelled, but not as I was going out the door. So it set a better tone.
Yeah, but you were taken aback by two electric vehicles.
2 electric vehicles. I'm in the street.
With your gas
Sadly.
guzzler. That gets
With
what, 7 miles to the
A
gallon?
humongous Z71 Chevy Suburban with a now second broken screen.
You broke another screen?
I did not. Big Brain fell into it. Was leaning over to get whatever bazillion things we have for our bazillion kids, and fell and shouldered the $6,500 screen.
Oh my God.
So we will see.
Man,
I'm gonna go ahead.
The Turners and those screens. But,
I'm gonna go ahead and, well, some other people around here have that nickname. Let's not be trying to rename nicknames. I'm gonna go all in on this one. So just listeners, turn the volume up a little bit. We will see that women have far less consequences than men, because that screen will not get replaced.
But your screen
Nor
that you
will there
broke.
be the tongue lashings issued. I just laughed and moved along.
That's smart,
Like
man.
a normal man with a male member, I just laughed and moved it along.
All right.
I'm trying to get into the fact that females have less consequences, especially physical consequences, than men do. I'm just using the screens to...
Okay, this is...
Maybe
so it's
I'm-
deeper than what you're
Maybe
saying.
it's Sheriff Esquire tonight, because I'm pigeonholing it into the
you
argument
are.
I'm already very passionate about.
Well, since... All right, you got it off the chest.
No, but
All right.
that screen won't be getting replaced, I'll just
Okay.
say that.
Electric vehicles. You both have one. It's becoming more common. My question to you two is electric vehicle owners.
Are we gonna race?
Oh, actually, yes. Are y'all going to race? Because
That's
I
content.
know the Tesla's supposed to win. I don't mean to put everybody's business out there, but
I think he's proud of it. It's legal.
yeah.
It
How long?
probably would win. I don't know. I have no idea.
I know PackMan, you've had your electric vehicle for 6 months now.
Something like that. Yeah.
Legal. How long have you had your electric vehicle?
Ooh, it'll be about a year and a half.
You're on the cutting edge.
Yeah. I'll
It's
say
a
you
little
were
while.
trailblazer of the electric vehicles.
We're saving the planet. Well,
I was into
taught me
Tesla.
off, I might be glad.
I was into Tesla well before they were even particularly popular, just because I thought it was an interesting thing.
Yeah,
I thought they were cool cars, and I always wanted one. And next thing you know, I drove by one sitting on the side of the road at a car dealership, and went in and talked to this fine gentleman, and I somehow
It was
walked.
a buy here, pay here place.
Right, it's kind of a sketchy place here in Athens.
Got a good 27% interest rate.
Right, that's right. And
Good.
he told me, I wouldn't do this for anybody else, but I'll do it
Sign
for
the
you.
title
I
over.
said, hey, listen, man, I'm a lawyer. You can pull one over on me. So I walked out of there with the Tesla. Yes, sir.
So I'm also a fan of the electric vehicles. I think they're really neat.
They're fun to drive too. I will say that.
But it doesn't have. You don't have to go into this. Go into it for how much you want to. I don't think we're ready for large scale. I think those are like fun, eclectic cars that some people should have.
Good word.
And there's no problem. I have no problem with y'all having electric cars. Not that you care, but I have no problem with that. But I don't think we're ready for a large scale yet.
Yeah, first off, it is a relief to have your approval. I appreciate that.
Good answer, Esquire.
And technically, you probably are correct as it relates to the infrastructure needed to charge vehicles on a larger basis. I don't know that it exists in America, but I do envision a point in the future where gas vehicles are essentially no more. And I'm sure some people won't like that. Maybe they'll exist to some much smaller degree for the people that are collectors and things like that. But
and how far in the future do you think that is? Realistic.
2035.
See, I don't think it'll be in my lifetime, really. I just think
we got a red-blooded American right here.
I don't think that's a heavy lift.
My concern would be if take California or Texas right now, can't figure out blackouts now, and then you have large scale electric vehicle charging on the grid already is strained. How are we doing with that?
Power outages over there, Jebediah.
Rolling blackouts, yep.
Why do you keep going there? It's not a blackout, it's a power outage.
It's a slang term, right? Blackout?
It's like black ice. Why does it gotta be black?
Because it's not there. I don't know.
Like an absent father? Is that what you're talking
Here we go.
Oh,
the absence of color.
Listen,
It's not there.
Let this man speak and support his fellow African American business owner, Elon Musk.
That's very true.
He is from South Africa.
He is an African American.
For those that were not aware. You know, I mean, look, we said we weren't going to circle back to the Amish. I guess if they can go without power for all that time, you know,
Yeah.
Texas would be all right.
It would.
We interrupted Pack, I think.
No.
You just don't see it.
Well, right now, okay, so I drove from Port St. Joe, which is about 40 miles east of Panama City, to Athens today. I did it in 6.5 hours. Got a story about that. 6.5 hours. If I had an electric vehicle, I would not be able to do that. Correct.
Correct.
So how long would that trip have taken me in your vehicle if you had access to charging ports?
I would have to plan my route based on where the chargers. I don't know. That's an interesting.
All right, so just say you had you knew there's no like rerouting. It was just on the way you would have to charge. How many times would you have to stop and charge?
Well, and it also depends on the type of chargers that are on the way.
Are you an Esquire now? Is that what this is?
Because there are some that charge, like
okay.
supercharger types that I can go from like 10% to 80% in, I don't know, 20 minutes maybe.
Okay.
For some of them, but most of them aren't that fast.
Okay.
So I really don't know. It would take me
A couple
a lot
hours
longer
more.
than that. Yes.
2 hours safely at least.
Yes, at least I would say.
So now he's saying.
Sorry,
So
sir. Go
we're
ahead.
looking at 8.5 to 9 hours for a
Minimum.
Is that a fair guesstimate?
How many miles is it?
Oh man. No.
I got a whole stack guys on it. Port St. Joe.
Yeah, what do you get on a 100%? So we never even charge ours to 100%
Right.
usually.
Right, yeah. I guess you're not supposed to
Yeah.
for the health of the battery.
That's what they say.
But I'm told it's supposed to be about 275 miles for
Okay.
mine, which is like the base model of
Yeah.
Tesla, basically.
Okay. Yeah, we get 240.
Okay.
And we're the base model. It's a Mach Ford Mustang Mach E. The GT Mach E's get more, probably comparable to that. But ours is 240 on a charge, so
It's a very good looking vehicle.
yeah, we'd have to.
356 miles
Okay.
from our location, which could be close to your home.
Yeah. So
To Port St.
the
Joe.
student maybe right in the bedroom here. I don't know. So you have to charge one time.
One time charging,
Okay.
and
That's not terrible.
No,
but
that's
still.
No.
Assuming there's a charger on the way, which I guess nowadays there probably would be.
So the route I took today, you would have to make it to I-75 from what I remember. And then there was one pretty close. I don't know how many miles that was to I-75. That would be over halfway. But okay, I won't get into the nuts and bolts of that. So you theoretically could only charge one time, so maybe only half an hour more.
That's what I'm thinking about. 30
Okay.
more minutes, honestly. Yep.
Okay, but that's just a 6.5 hour trip. It's not even, you couldn't even get to Disney World on that.
That's correct. Which is interesting you say that because I'm going to Disney World here in about 2 weeks.
And you're taking the Tesla.
No, we are not.
No!
We are not. We're taking my wife's vehicle, which is a Dodge Journey.
Gas guzzler.
Nice.
Yep, you know, old
American.
reliable.
Yeah.
Dodge Journey, I like that's a good vehicle.
So is she on board with electric, or she's like, have your fun, honey?
She doesn't have anything against it. She has never driven it, not a single time, despite my invitation repeatedly to drive it. And at this point, it's probably important that she would know how to do it, just in case.
Right.
She's just not interested for whatever reason, and it's hard for me to wrap my head around why she would not be interested.
She's another red-blooded American.
Yeah.
That's right.
Again, you know, her father is the stone quarry owner, and I'll tell you what, they're not quarrying stone in electric vehicles.
Yeah.
Maybe that has something to do with it.
Yeah. I don't know, it's just interesting. I mean, for y'all, more interesting for y'all, just trying to navigate that.
Well, and it's my wife's car. So, and she, you know, most people know I'm from Milwaukee. We take road trips to Milwaukee. There's no way I would take. That's a 900 something mile drive. Takes us 14 hours in a gas powered vehicle.
Yeah.
I don't even want to. That's plenty long.
Yeah.
I don't even want to like try to fathom trying to drive it in our Mach-E.
Now, I will admit, if you're like Doc Laladay does, takes it from work to home, shuttle the kids around, I think it's a great vehicle for that, because you can charge at home.
Yeah.
You don't have to coordinate and all that. I just don't think we're getting near to where you can do this long term. And then you get the whole trucking industry. It's interesting.
If it's anything like charging your phone, I'm going to be slashing my own tires.
Well, I think
I don't like technology at all.
Now, it depends on how fast they're gonna like improve the technology too, right? So like, are batteries gonna be able to be smaller and hold more of a charge, and are you gonna be able to charge remotely somehow, solar panel?
And then you've got government subsidies right now, so I don't know how the true cost of a lot of this stuff is. I don't know. We need to have Elon Musk on.
We got
you've been a great guest, but you need to leave. We need to have Elon Musk here.
Yeah, let's just.
I'd be honored. I'd be honored to be replaced by Elon Musk, and I bet you'd get some pretty good content.
Yeah.
You might have your podcast even shut down after.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, potentially. But yeah, I mean, there are a lot. I'm sure Pack would say the same thing. There are a lot of amazing perks too. I'm to be clear, I've been a traffic prosecutor. I obey all traffic laws for all law enforcement that are out there listening. But those cars have some giddy up.
Man, they are
That's
fun.
pretty amazing.
Yeah.
There's no law on how safely you can get up to 60 miles an hour.
I can get up to the speed limit very quickly and not exceed it.
That's right. I don't think my mom's going to be listening to this podcast, so I can say this. My brother who lives in Oklahoma, he has one. And all the roads in Oklahoma are flat and straight.
Yeah.
And I visited him one day, and the next thing I knew, we were going 140 miles per hour.
Oh my God.
In his Tesla, which was kind of a harrowing experience. I've never gone that fast in my life. But I don't condone it.
That's right.
No, I
jurisdiction.
I got a Tesla to Uber me back to McCarran Airport in Sin City.
Okay.
I just was staring at the man to try to figure out how to get in the vehicle.
Yeah, you gotta push buttons and
Which
stuff.
I think that is a brilliant idea to...
Until somebody wants to break in, they just smash the window because they don't know how to
I think the
pull the door
idea...
handle.
Yeah, the idea was to mitigate the entering auto. They may have just pissed the criminal off, to your point.
Right.
But I just stood there and looked at the guy, and then he gave me a tutorial about pushing with the thumb, et cetera, but yeah, let's just let the government put us on a grid, and they can control all of our comings and goings. Let's do that.
Yeah, well, we get conspiracy theory. They're just gonna drop an EMP, and then there we go. We're not going anywhere. All the electronics are right. Or there's a software update.
Here comes Zebediah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Buggy and a horse.
He's passing me on his horse because Sleepy Joe's controlling my car. Sorry, the current president.
So before I forget, so I was coming back on I-75 north, just north of Buc-ee's actually. Rainstorm comes. I'm in the left lane. There's a left lane Susie in front of me. Slow me down. We're going like 70, which is just mind-numbing to me, in the left lane on the interstate. So left lane Susie finally gets off and exits, so I'm about to increase my speed, and this motorcycle comes. Next lane over, cuts over, not recklessly or anything. He's just also about to speed up. As he goes to turn in front of me, his back tire slips out and he slides. There's a man with his hand out in front of my car, sliding at 70 miles an hour in front of me.
Oh my God.
I slam on brakes as I'm trying to maneuver, because there's also, you know, people behind me going and people beside me. I can't go anywhere except the shoulder. So I'm going over, he's going over. We're playing a game of chicken as he's on his butt looking at me. The special agent said I could see into his soul through the visor of his helmet.
Oh my God.
Somehow, thanks to the good Lord above,
Amen.
I zigged, he zagged, he went around, I think he went around the passenger side, didn't feel a bump, looked in my rearview mirror, the truck behind him comes at an angle, and he somehow misses that and gets to the side and stands up. His bike is still going faster than me in the lane.
Oh my gosh.
Man.
So
wish he had a dash cam.
He just aborted. He aborted the mission.
He could not help it because his bike went flat and he was sliding. It was a surreal experience. My question is, okay, so I slowed down. I saw him get up, and I was like, it's going to be an hour for this trooper gets here. I just put it in the wind and left.
Oh no!
I mean, I didn't hit anything. He didn't hit me. Everybody's alive. He was standing up, and I was like, there's plenty of witnesses. And he didn't hit anybody else with his bike. It was the craziest accident to not have any other cars involved.
You would have had to turn around at the next exit, correct? And
I could
have been behind him.
I could have slammed on brakes and been a couple hundred yards ahead of him, but that to me seemed more dangerous. Am I a bad person?
You pulled a big brain, didn't you? Except for it wasn't your accident.
Yeah. Go ahead, y'all can answer.
Are you asking me a criminal question?
No,
or
I'm asking you a moral question.
A moral question.
Ethical. Not very
I think
ethical.
legally I didn't have any responsibility.
Well, were you in Florida or were you in Georgia?
I was in Georgia.
Okay, I don't think it matters either way. Morally, I'm going to give you a pass on this one. Maybe the safer thing for you to have done, in fact, was to keep going, potentially.
I think so.
With the amount of accidents that
that's a typical sleazy, slanted story. Some alliteration there for you.
Rubberneckers coming by, slam into you while you're trying to be a good Samaritan.
I mean, you stop your vehicle, you get hit, and then, it's a
where are we at?
national news story at that point.
Clearly you knew where the wreck was. Just go to the next exit, turn around, come in behind it, put your four-ways on, boom, you're there.
No, there's
Good
thousands of
witness.
cars. There's thousands of cars on the road.
Thousands, huh?
Thousands.
What is this, a three-lane interstate?
It's crowded Sunday afternoon after a lot of people spring break.
In downtown Atlanta, because the rest of the interstates in this state are like 2 lanes. Other than when you're coming
not
into
75.
downtown.
75 is packed. Because it's the...
I'm not saying it's not packed, Sleazy. It's a minimum amount of lanes.
So
you
the
act
sheriff
like
said,
they're in downtown Milwaukee.
So the sheriff says I'm a bad person. All right, go.
Now, 100. I would.
Ethically.
Yeah,
You did exactly what I would have. In fact,
Tiebreaker there.
funny story.
Oh, I thought you was about to give us an F-bomb there. Man, blank that guy.
Doc Lolliday witnessed a wreck, not near as cool or as exciting as that, but here, just on her way to work one day, she witnessed a wreck, and she called me and was like, "Hey, I just saw
Kept it on go.
this wreck," and I said, "Huh? What?"
You said, what? I can't hear you.
yeah, I know. I put my fingers in my ears. La 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 la. No, you didn't. But I said, we don't talk to the police in our house, so keep going.
She was just trying to
Just
survive.
So, you had no obligation to stop.
No.
In my opinion, now maybe they can judge, the listeners and viewers can judge me all they want.
Call that jurisdiction and tell them you were a witness.
I don't even know where we were. I mean, I know where we were. I don't know what county. Anyways, the guy's alive. Thank goodness. He stood up, and I saw him.
He was. You left him alive. You don't know what happened to him.
I saw the truck that almost hit him stop with him, and then that's when I hit the gas and
Feeling out of there.
And also, on the flip side of that, Lolly again also witnessed another wreck. She did, cause she spoke to the trooper on the phone saying, "Hey, this is what I saw."
Right.
Had to go to court.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's like, you would have been getting subpoenaed to go to whatever county you were in to traffic.
Right.
Maybe it's potentially.
If his bike had caused massive damage, I don't know how the bike didn't hit anybody else. Yeah, 2 minutes. No, it literally kept going faster than, as I slammed on brakes, the bike went 70 miles an hour for a while, as the guy did as well. If the bike had caused a major pile up, and obviously if the guy was hurt, I would have stopped. Probably. I would have stopped.
Yeah, we don't even know where the bike is.
It was in the
I came into the.
It was in the number 2 lane.
I'm gonna make
on
you feel
I-75.
bad. I was on this was a little role reversal, so it's not as related as I would want it to be. But I come into the Greenville field office for the Highway Patrol, and the gentleman that was a former Marine that I think now may be running that field office as the first sergeant said, "You won't believe," and I understand we have some tall storytellers in our profession, but this guy was a working man, badass. I knew the story was going to be awesome. He said, cars going, let's just say north on 85, men on the motorcycles going south. They could have been the other way, who cares? Tire blows off of the car, man is just driving down the road listening to his tunes. Tire decapitates the man from the other side of 85.
I've heard several of those stories.
And so that's some Final Destination stuff right there. And you might have just witnessed that.
No, the bike was laying in the road when I left.
Yeah, well, you just said it was going as faster than you were. Right into someone's windshield and killing them.
Probably slid into an orphanage.
Exactly. Thank you, Legal Eagle, for... I'm just trying to guilt trip them. I probably would have kept going too, but...
Obviously, it's still on my mind if I asked it
you
now.
You got to argue. This is a 50-50.
I also was on a schedule.
There you go.
I had a podcast to get to.
That's
I couldn't be...
The people were waiting.
Yeah, I couldn't be slowed down.
You've incriminated yourself in front of the dozens and dozens.
You gotta piece it all together. Some internet sleuth is
Yeah,
gonna
that's
figure it
right.
out.
Yeah.
You know who could? Cue the sound effect, the cruise missile.
Pew.
She is good. She is good with the technology.
All right, let's get into some questions. How about that?
Let's do it.
Some listener questions or user questions. What do you want to say? They might use this podcast for comic relief. First one is a leprechaun themed St. Patty's Day themed question. And it comes in from no other than Raytron, the little sleaze.
Okay.
She wanted to know, are leprechauns real? Are we real? Is anyone real?
Oh,
very deep.
Wow, that was
Very
way deeper than I... Man.
Okay. She is related to you.
That she is. Leprechauns are not real in the sense of, they have a pot of gold. There are a lot of leprechaun lookalikes in the world.
Are you referring to little people?
Not specifically, I'm just saying.
It could be.
People.
Could be.
Oh, like regular sized people, but they look like them, like our guest last week.
I'm not getting in between you.
Our Nordic friend.
I'm not getting in between you and Viking Chris.
If he was on Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, he would be perfect. Give him a pot, give him the outfit. You wouldn't have to change his face, his beard, the way he wears a hat, nothing.
So you're saying Viking Chris looks like a leprechaun? That's what you were saying.
No, I'm saying if he is a large man and could probably pass for being kin to me or vice versa.
So you're saying he's a giant leprechaun?
If he were to have been shrunk, like the movie, he could be a fabulous leprechaun. I also lost to him in a red beard competition at work for social media, so I might be a little salty.
Okay.
Oh, was he? He was the leprechaun on.
It was down to us too.
He was the leprechaun on our social media a couple years ago for St. Patrick's Day.
What an honor.
There you go.
There's your answer.
Is that, yeah.
Colonel Demanda, straight from her lips to God's ears. It was 1-2, Rooster Cogburn, and then the sheriff.
Okay.
And he got the nod.
Okay.
So I clearly, thank you. Photographer Jeff agrees.
The other parts of those questions, I don't know. Are any of us real? Are we living in the Matrix? I don't know. Some days, I wonder.
I mean, this is turning into the Elon Amish episode. That's right. At this point, Elon postulates pretty often that we're living in a simulation, and that none of this is under any of our control. And I think he's got some strong thoughts about that. So he would say, I guess maybe we do exist, but we're existing in some sort of simulation, I suppose.
I think I have evidence to that. It was actually last week or week before. Yeah, it was last week. Me and the bird were riding around. It's my part. The bird.
More code names.
Well, it's not germane to the situation who the bird is. I was just riding the bird.
Jesus, we just had postulates, germane. Man, hold on. That guy's getting overwhelmed over here. I'm going to define these words.
There was a portly Hispanic woman with a black, rolly, like laundry cart, with a black shawl going down Baxter Street.
I thought you were calling the bird portly.
No, not at all.
You're gonna leave. Leaving.
All right, we went, delivered an errand that was our mission. Took 3 minutes.
The boss's new uniform needs pressing.
Doesn't matter what the errand was. Doesn't matter if the legal eagle needed,
Jeff with two
some whipped cream for his.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right.
We turned, made a direct line to Hawthorne Avenue. For the listeners who aren't from Athens, that's about, as the bird flies, half a mile, but as the streets go, that's a mile and a half.
Oh, it's a maze of all kinds
We
of
get to Hawthorne and Oglethorpe. The same portly Hispanic woman with the same shopping cart and black shawl is crossing over Hawthorne. Tell me how that happened. It's a glitch. It's a glitch.
Ooh. Oh, she's an NPC.
Yeah.
I like that. Now we're getting somewhere.
Or she can just move.
That's it.
There's no, but she was walking in the same direction in both places.
Yeah,
it makes no sense.
She's the Tesla of portly Hispanic women.
She's a blip.
Good traction, basically. Yeah.
I don't know. The birds
Could she have gotten a ride?
But why would you get a ride and not go to your location?
Why do people on Hawthorne Extension do any of the things they do on Hawthorne Extension?
It was a Hawthorne Extension. It was Hawthorne Avenue.
Oh, well, close enough.
But she was walking from the direction of the fire station across. If you got a ride, let's just say she got a ride. You're getting a ride. Why would you not get a ride to your location? You wouldn't get a ride to then go walk to your location.
Hey, that person was only going that far.
I gotta say, he seems pretty upset about it. I'm wondering if he saw her wreck her cart and just went flying by as he's wont to do.
Good.
Maybe flipped her the bird on the way by. I don't stop for wrecks, lady.
That's some good postulation out of you there, Esquire.
All I'm saying is I witnessed the glitch in the system because it makes no logical sense.
It is a comedy, but the movie starring one of our men, some mangevity, beautiful young man, Ryan Reynolds in Free Guy. That'll get you thinking about. I like the movie. Yeah. Just to postulates third person present. It's postulate, suggest or assume the existence, fact, or truth of something.
Thank you. I don't know if Esquire even knew. He just used the word.
I had my fingers crossed,
Germaine, that's the other one we need to
Go
ahead.
Any other comments on this? Real, not real?
So, I don't know, just kind of personally, sometimes you get those weird feelings, like when you have deja vu, for instance, like you are living something or experiencing something, you're like, I can't put my finger to it, but I've done this before, seen this exact scenario before.
Okay. On either side of the fence that you're on, does it matter?
No, not really. Because
it's only if you know if it matters.
Right.
The subconscious is very strong.
Which pill was Neo offered in the Matrix? It was the red and the blue pill.
Red and the blue pill.
Which one was the one that showed you the Matrix?
Anyway,
he was offered 2 pills. One was to show him the truth, and one was to go back, not knowing that he was living in a matrix, a simulation. I often think, as even the legal eagle, people that were outside of the criminal justice system were offered the same pill, and now that we've taken it, we can't go back to normal. Like,
red pill would have been to see your existence. Blue pill was to remain in contented ignorance.
I argue that we took the red pill because now, I talked to some people who just live regular lives, work regular jobs, which is great. Nothing wrong with that. But they have such a blissful outlook on the world. Yes. They're positive. They have hope for the future. And I think people that have seen behind the curtain, so to speak, in the criminal justice system especially, I think sometimes I go back and I'm like, would I have taken that same pill again? I don't know.
I would. I can tell you right now, I wouldn't.
But you can't go back now.
I don't like I don't like the person that the career has made me. I'm not stopping for somebody's wreck on I-75 either. I'm like, oh man, sucks to be you. But
I will agree that the oldest female deputy had a very loving conversation about a gentleman asking for money.
Correct.
Some would call it a vagrant.
Yep.
At the corner of Barnett Shoals and Gaines School.
Yep.
And
glass half full, people say he's just down on his luck.
Yep.
Give him some money.
She was wanting to go over there and give the man a hug and a kiss.
That's very sweet.
She is very sweet.
And I wish that for all of us, that we could sing.
I was just trying to explain to her that even if she wants, the least she wanted to do was give him some change.
Right.
Because I kind of talked her down from, let's give him our
Your
house.
Yeah.
Because again, she is, when she wants to be a very loving soul.
Right.
And she said, well, the least we could do would give him some change. And I said, well, do you want your change to go to drugs? That's exactly what
As
I
a
went.
loving father would.
I don't know this homeless man or this unhoused individual.
We probably
I
all
was
have
just
had the same conversations with our young ones.
I was
Legal,
just
have you had this conversation
utilizing the situation.
with your young chick? I don't know what that baby eagle's called. Your baby eagle?
I don't know. I'll have to look that one up.
It's that guy.
He's only 5 years old, so we've not quite had that conversation yet. But you know, kind of to echo what Pack was saying there, from my perspective, you know, being in court all the time, just the psychology of it is not good for a person. I mean, you're spending every day arguing over bad news and bad situations.
Yeah.
Over time, it's going to make you cynical. And I know I started out this job, you know, trying to see the good in everybody, and I still do try to do that to the extent that I can. But you know, I've become a lot more cynical, a lot more skeptical of what people's motives are. And like the sheriff was saying, you see that situation, and the childlike sense is to want to help out, and it's just not as direct as that, basically.
Yeah, and
you were
unfortunately,
right.
I feel disdain for the privileged person who gives a 10 out the window. I just want to go strangle them. And so but they feel good about themselves.
But I wish I could view the world through that lens. Like, I wish I could go back and be like,
take the blue pill.
Yeah, I know.
Should have took the blue pill.
Too late now.
Now you can take the other blue pill.
Hey.
If you want. I'm not going there. The only real man on the consistent panel.
Don't speak for the legal.
Don't speak for the legal.
Yeah, I'm saying on the consistent panel,
Okay.
not our excluding our illustrious guest.
Okay.
I would assume if he only has a 5-year-old, as a beautiful young man that he is, his wife would be very disturbed if he started shooting blanks.
Well, you know, people do look at me, and when I tell them what I do, they're like, that can't be possible. You're a 12-year-old child. You can't be in a position of any kind of authority.
That's right.
So I'm not sure what kind of masculinity I am or am not bringing to the table here.
The whole, it's a very authoritative clan that you come from.
Well, I do want to give a shout out to the magistrate, because hopefully he listens to this episode, and since I'm hoping he's made it this far in the episode, I want to throw him a bone. One of his prized possessions is a picture of the legal eagle wearing his 8-year-old nephew's batting helmet, because the magistrate comments frequently on how small the legal eagle's head is.
He does.
And he loves it. He thinks it's the funniest joke in the world, so I feed into it. I give him some fodder when I can.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of thought I'd get up here and you guys would have like some Scooby-Doo headphones.
I wasn't thinking far enough.
The magistrate, he does get a kick out of the size of my head for some reason, and what I tell him all the time. I tell him all the time. You know, there are 4 brothers in my family, so he's 12 years older than me, then one 10 years older than me, then a 10-year gap than me. And I just say, by the time my parents got to me, you know, there wasn't any more head circumference to go around. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, I could go so many places.
Yeah, we know you could.
A young eagle is a chick, or an eaglet, or
an
fledgling.
eaglet. I like the eaglet better.
I like eaglet as well.
Fledgling.
So I had another question from my other offspring, the Bolly. She wanted to know, it's kind of a serious question. Is St. Patrick's Day a big deal when you get to be an adult, just being nice? When you're old, is it a big deal? Because, you know, in school and all that, they still do the pinching and gotta wear green. You have to wear green, you know. It's a school.
Well, as everybody that made an effort to put at least a sliver of green on, I think
I brought some green, some green drinks.
You did?
You know, There we go. Yeah, I think so. I think us old
Irish.
people, we partake in it, and it's fun. It's something to do. It's a reason to
I think we
fellowship.
Yeah.
I thought you were going somewhere.
A reason to fellowship with our friends.
It's a reason to drink.
However you fellowship.
Yeah, St. Patrick's Day is a pretty big deal when you're 18 to 25.
Yeah.
Like, it's a huge excuse. You know, St. Patrick's Day, you have to go.
Yeah. Drink green beer.
And then when you get older, it's a luxury. Like, oh, it's St. Patrick's Day. I have time to do something maybe if it falls on a weekend, like this weekend.
Pack had a very busy weekend.
Celebrating the holiday.
Celebrating the holiday.
Andy has his jewelry on. I forgot to mention this.
That's it. That's where I was. That's where I was going.
He had a St. Patrick's Day 5K today.
That I did.
I didn't get invited.
You're all hey. Here we go again. You're always invited. I'll tell you, I'm actually doing 2 next month. You can come to both.
Yeah, I'm signed up for Twilight already.
Yeah, I've added another one to the schedule, so I'll give you the details.
The Athens Pride Bank. I just want to put the word bank in there as well. That's who's sponsoring the Twilight 5K. So y'all looking at circuitous.
I didn't know where you were going with that, but yeah, I ran a 5K, and the boys Sam and Brady both ran the 1 mile fun run
Lightning
before
fast.
the 5K. Yeah, and they blazed it. Sam came in first with a 7:09 mile, and Brady came in second with a 7:29 mile.
Y'all swept the podium.
Pretty much. I got second place in my age group.
Yeah. The young ones I'm talking about.
The young ones.
Sam called some ride share, if I know Sam.
Well, and that's the first thing I said. I'm like, Sam would have had to, but Brady would tell me. Sam also ran it in Crocs. Crocs and socks. Black Crocs. White socks.
Hold on, time out. What the hell is this with the socks and the Crocs? Because
that's what they
that
do,
was going to get your head stuffed into a dumpster, a toilet, a locker, any number of things if you wore socks and sandals.
Nope.
Or slides or anything when I was a child.
Well, now
it's a damn thing.
We bought Sam a nice pair of Jordans for his birthday or Christmas. A pair that he wanted, some Jordan 1s, high tops. He wanted these shoes forever and ever. We bought them for him. He never wears them. He wears his Crocs and socks. And all the kids, you drive by Hillsman Middle School, every kid that age will have on slides or Crocs and socks.
The male deputies are idiots. They have Spider-Man Crocs and socks, and the Crocs smell like Hawthorne Avenue, but they're still going to wear them every day.
Yeah, so anyway, Sam ran this mile, the 7:09 mile in Crocs and socks.
Awesome.
That's pretty impressive.
It's very impressive.
Yeah.
He probably didn't have bottoms on those things. What a bunch of idiots. Golly, man. Don't even get me started.
Just hating on them.
There is a young lady that works at an establishment on Atlanta Highway behind the Carrabba's. If you are a tenderoni, you can wear whatever you want. But if you are a male, wear the correct footwear.
Okay. Message received.
Real quick, if I may.
Yeah, of course.
I think I mentioned to you earlier this week or last week. I had to call my mom over to babysit the eaglet today, and she typically will ask when she comes over to watch him, where are you going, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I kept this one pretty vague. And in fact, I told her I'm going to meet with some police officers.
Yeah.
No, you didn't want to.
The gig is up.
I'm going to meet with, and she probably just assumed, we were working out some grand plan to save Athens.
Yeah.
I told Sleezy it was mostly because I didn't want to have to define tenderoni for her. She would listen back to this particular episode.
So you didn't want her to know that you were going to be on something she could partake in listening to.
I hate to deny you guys an additional listener.
We need everyone we can get. Come on.
I know it. But this one, I had to draw the line somewhere.
I'm going to find a way to get her
Sometimes you gotta keep mom in
But thanks,
the dark.
Mama Eagle,
You have
for
to slide
getting
into
babysitting duties.
Slide into the magistrate's office and
Very good point.
share the link
Very
for
good
him.
point.
For the
Make
magistrate.
sure he gets it.
Yeah.
Make sure he gets it.
Our four-legged officers and him have a meeting coming up, so I
There
might
you go.
have some
Yeah, you did.
conversation, because we know Scott Bobby will be no conversation at all business.
There you go. Sometimes you got to be as the boss.
That's it.
So I can slide in there and be unprofessional and ask about the listeners.
All right. Special agent sent in a question. I'm going to ask it a little bit differently than she put it in. I just want to know if you have something that you consider the luckiest thing to ever happen to you, and she said, why was it the lady you got married to? So we'll just scratch that part out. Obviously, that's the luckiest thing that ever happened to any of us, meeting our significant other.
Oh, what a coincidence. The luckiest thing that ever happened to me was meeting the special agent as well.
So we're glad to hear that.
Yeah. You were just trying to survive, I guess.
I think, going on recency bias, it would be, not being questioned for vehicular manslaughter today for running over a motorcycle. So
now you ran him over.
I didn't. I'm saying that's lucky that I didn't.
Little
all the
hyperbolizing.
defendants slip up and say the wrong thing at some point, So we were just waiting for that moment.
Yeah, the lights are getting too bright.
Yeah, Esquire got you lubed up, and now he's got his confession. Excuse me.
The sheriff's going to put you on cross-examination here pretty soon, Sleezy.
Come on.
To be serious, though, I don't know if there's like one lucky thing in my life that I would say has happened. I've had a lot of fortunate things, and it makes me wonder. Very deep conversation, as you can tell from my offspring's questions that we submitted. But there's a deep conversation about how much of that is designed, and the situations you're put in to make decisions.
You are stealing my answer.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Stealing
stealing
the poison from him.
Me and Mile High Terry have had this conversation way back in the day when we used to work together all the time.
Okay.
I don't necessarily believe in luck.
Okay.
I mean, I think you are always putting yourself in some sort of position to, create the luck, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I guess
I like it.
winning the lottery, for example. If you win the lottery, most people are going to say that was lucky. In a sense that it doesn't take skill, right?
Right.
But you are putting yourself in that position.
By buying a ticket.
By buying a ticket, by picking numbers, or however you do it. And same thing with meeting your spouse or having kids, or, it's not like the luckiest day of my life that I had these kids. I
put in the work.
Put in the work to have these kids. Yep.
The knees were quivering.
That's it. That's it. So I don't know. That's my take on
Let's
it.
be fair to Doc Lolliday, though. You have a lot less work.
I always tell her I pushed him out first.
Oh my God.
The fighting 69th is kicking in down here.
All right. Anyway.
There it is. You got the anyways this week, Pat.
I think PackMan eloquently said what I was trying to put in words. That was good how you put that. Because I argue with people all the time. I do play the lottery, but I buy a ticket.
Yeah.
Because your chances are zero. Everybody's like, well, you don't have a chance if you buy a ticket. I do have a chance.
Yeah.
Now, if I buy 10 tickets, my chances don't increase very much at all.
Yeah.
But to go from zero to a chance is infinitely increasing your chances.
Right.
Ooh, that's deep.
I'm telling you, man.
I was good with he pushed it out first. That's where I like to live. Right there in the innuendo land.
Legal, we got any thoughts?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'd have to echo Pack. I think what I've thought before is, preparation meets opportunity, and that's how you get. Well,
is that a Sandusky quote? Oh my God!
We're canceled. God, see ya.
Believe it or not, I think it may actually be a spin on something Joe Paterno said. Just to clarify that.
A spin for sure.
Yes. I don't know that I've ever had a moment where I've gotten I've never won a lottery, or even I was thinking to myself, I haven't ever even won a small raffle or anything like that. That I'm a bit of a sports betting guy every now and then, and there's certainly some luck involved in that. So maybe on a much smaller scale, I've had some good luck on that. But other than that, nothing.
There's some luck involved in that, but what we're talking about specifically the prize picks. You did research, so if you would have won, you can even say if you'd have won those prize picks, the picks on your prize picks for these stats that you were betting on. You would have but I get what you're saying. It's still kind of
still a matter of putting the work in, as Pack says.
Prize
picks. So I get it. Luck, as in, it's not completely in your control if something good happens to you. But my thought is, you still have to put yourself in that position, right? Like, I'm not going to win any prize picks because I didn't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've never been I've had several people in my life that's been very jealous of successful people. And I've never been that person because even if they do what's dumb luck, they buy something they buy some property with no purpose of flipping it.
Yeah, they bought a Bitcoin when it was brand new, and now
and then life changes or something, all of a sudden it's worth a whole bunch. And they had no research. They had no forethought about it. They were just doing it because for some other reason. They still put themselves in that situation.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it.
So
shout out to Prize Picks. We don't want any. Don't come at us copyright trademark.
oh, it's
I mean,
We,
maybe
got
with a
no money.
sponsorship.
Yeah,
They're
hey,
slinging
anytime.
money around like
Yeah,
crazy.
no kidding.
anytime.
Yeah.
The Roman philosopher Seneca once said, "Well, you're going over here with the Sandusky thing, trying to get us canceled. I'm saving the podcast to say that it was the Roman philosopher Seneca who said, 'Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity.'" So,
Yeah.
Seneca, Joe Paterno, Seneca.
yeah, Seneca might have gone through state college at some point.
But it is lucky that through all my shenanigans, the special agent still likes to be around me. That
That's
is
it.
lucky. Because I don't really do much to put myself in good situations to deserve that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to agree with that for myself. My wife is, of all places, she's in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Man,
Yeah, she's there
home
for,
of the Hot Rods minor league team.
if you say so.
Also home of the Corvette Museum.
Correct, correct.
You lost the legal at that one.
I hope when she's listening tomorrow, she's interested in checking out the Corvette Museum.
Yeah.
The
Getting
Hot Rods.
getting a t-shirt for the Hot Rods.
I don't think they're playing yet.
But,
yet.
you know, she gave me, before she left, sort of the rundown of all the things I needed to do for the Eaglet. And it just seemed like the list was never going to end,
Man.
to be honest with you. I thought
And
to
we were
myself,
like, who does this all the time?
I didn't exactly. I didn't say it out loud to her at the time. She's gonna find out now. But I was like, there's no way I'm not gonna forget at least one or two of these
Yeah,
things. So yes, I'm also very lucky in that regard.
Right.
Minor league baseball team, high A affiliate of the Tampa Bay Rays. Sorry, he knew I was going to bite on that
Right.
because he has not played the game, the beautiful game, America's pastime, as long as I have. But I have met some guys that have played at the major league level that don't know minor league baseball, like the Sleezy.
Just a little hobby of mine. We're going to blame Big Brain for the last question of the night.
Yes, come on, Orange Man.
Another grenade landmine
Oh,
thrown.
boy.
I think she might have
No,
been in cahoots with the cruise missile.
she was not in cahoots with me. I told her to send in a question.
But you know, this can be answered without any political affiliation, which is who cares who you're affiliated with. She wanted to know, we have a Esquire here.
You're already dancing.
Allegedly, as the defense bar likes to say.
So given all the stuff that's going on with the Republican nominee, Donald J.
Just
Trump,
say it. Orange Man bad.
could he actually see jail time? And can he be kept from running as the presidential candidate? And I don't know enough in the weeds. I just know.
I need to be very quiet on
I
this
don't-
question.
No, I'll go ahead and say what I think because it's not very deep. Because I have been so sick of both sides of the aisle for the past couple of years that I haven't dove deep into this because I'm done with all of them. But he's getting hit from a lot of angles. I don't think there's ever jail time. I don't think for these people in these
You
type
were gonna do
positions,
it
jail time is a reality once you get to a certain economic level. I think there's always some legal maneuver
There
to
you go.
avoid jail time.
I think
That's my
a good
opinion.
point.
And that is not because he's who he is, just because if it was the other guy, if it was Joe Biden, I think it'd be the same thing. Actually, we've been seeing the same thing play out on the other side. It's like on and on, they throw mud at each
Classified
other.
documents.
But what we don't realize is they're going to play golf on the weekends together. This is all a sham for us minions out here. All right, I'm done on my soapbox. Go ahead.
I like it. You're just getting heated up.
Yeah. Anyway, if nobody else wants to answer, that's fine.
Yeah, somebody else.
I think the sheriff probably wants to say something, and
Yeah.
I'd love to hear you.
Negative. Negative. I agree with all that.
So, sorry, go ahead.
No, I think, without even, again, directly answering the question.
That's a good Esquire.
I had a thought the other day, and a lot of people have had this thought too. You know, how was it that we got to this point?
Correct.
At this point, I'd be willing to let Bill Clinton mix 3 or 4 scoops. You know, he'd take that sax back to the White House for another term.
That's a great analogy. Yeah.
Because we're choosing between the assisted living home and the prison.
Yes.
And you know,
Correct.
Yeah.
how is
Good
that?
point.
It's really not a true choice, is it?
Correct.
My 2 cents.
You're giving them 2 or 3 more Monicas? Is that what I heard? Or?
No, he said scoops, ice cream.
Oh, okay.
Literal
ice cream
scoops.
Hey,
of ice
Monica,
cream.
I meant to say this earlier. Monica was a tenderoni. So
Yeah, with the
we can
beret.
only hate.
I don't know about the beret, man. I'm not a big fan of berets.
Okay, without the beret, with nothing on. She was a fairly attractive. Was she as attractive to be engaged? Was she?
Do you just want to cut it off?
No, I don't want to cut it off. I'm committed now. Would she have been married to the President of the United States? I don't know if she was. I do feel like there is a certain level of attractiveness to be in that discussion, or to be that person's significant other, whether that be male or female. We certainly can see that. Who was talking about Danica Patrick on a, Danica Patrick.
Oh, where are you going?
Hold on, let me finish my circle.
We're in the wilderness. We're lost.
I follow you.
Yeah, she's not. Danica Patrick's not going to be married to me. Is what I was trying to say. Somebody was it CNN or somebody said Danica Patrick was the most overrated athlete.
That was PackMan.
That was me.
Okay. Yeah, I knew it was someone here. Sorry, I didn't remember the exact syllable coming out of your mouth, Pack, and I'm sorry.
But how does this relate to him getting an extra scoop of ice cream at Penn State?
I'm saying Monica Lewinsky was not that bad looking for what transpired. I'm not saying she's a 20 on a scale of 5, but I'm also saying on a scale of 5, she's probably a solid 3.5, 3.75.
Anyways.
The sheriff sounds a little bit like me in court when I know things aren't going my way.
Yeah.
I mean, no, Judge, if you had a Danica Patrick for every Monica Lewinsky,
that's
you wouldn't
right.
be here today.
That's it.
That's right.
And the judge would probably agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta muddy the waters, legal, and I'm good at that.
You're not
Yeah.
wrong about that. You're not wrong.
Yeah, go ahead.
Speaking of judges, I saw one of the judges at SBC yesterday. It was
Oh,
Southern Brewing.
Southern Brewing Company.
Celebrating St. Patty's Day.
Just like a regular person.
Just like a regular person. We're just regular people. How about that?
Yeah, they got the red pill though too.
They do. They do. We wish some of them
yeah.
dive into it a little more. But, sometimes they chewing on some blue pills. Anyways, politics is a weird thing. A special agent has investigated several local just to get rid of the national thing. Local that really don't matter nationally. What I have seen, and it's not everybody, so I don't mean to throw everybody in a blanket, but it's really hard to
Throw everyone.
under
Throw
one
on a blanket,
Hey,
sleep.
according to Cawthorn, everybody's under one blanket in D.C. But anyways, it's
Is that a reference to Madison Cawthorn?
It
that's
is.
right. Anyways, it's hard for people once they with all good intentions. Once they get into a position, which I feel most people locally get in there with good aspirations, and then they see all the stuff that they can have their hands on, and then people are talking to them. A lot of them, because if you go into politics, there is some type of vanity that you like the limelight, so to speak. You want to be important.
Yeah, I like where you're going with this.
And so they're easily susceptible to fall into some form of corruption or underhandedness, and not everybody, but there's an easiness to do that. So it just goes on as you go up in levels, and that's why I have, if you can't tell from my discourse, I have a disdain for politicians because I've seen, and I've also seen the things people don't really know about locally. That it's just plain wrong.
Yeah, it's interesting that you bring this up. I'm going to give a shout out to one of your new listeners. He'll be a new listener. My lifelong best friend, who goes by Brovey. He's from Pennsylvania.
Brovey. Shout out, Brovey.
Shout out to Brovey. And he and I have had this conversation many, many times that the psychology of any politician has to be basically that of a sociopath. Because you decided at some point, I should be the person to make decisions for everybody. I feel that way about myself, that I'm that wise or smart or whatever it is. And so you've got to start off with kind of one foot in the door of insanity, if you ask me. I'm like you, a bit distrustful of someone like that. It'd be one thing if we were going around saying, this person would be a great choice and we're going to kind of pull you up out of whatever life you're living. But
Right.
The people that are super interested in it are super interested in it for a reason, which I think is to put themselves in a position that
I
they
love
can.
it.
Brovy's a smart man.
I think Brovy is on the same page, so shout out Brovy.
Shout out Brovy.
There was another code name that I got lost in, and now there's another one, and it's bothering me. Oh, Mile High Terry.
Well, it's the first name of Mile High Cook.
Okay.
There you go.
Who in the hell is Terry? Is that the guy in the wheelchair that's on fire doing the burnout?
Mile high, Terry.
Back up, Terry.
Yeah, back up.
Yeah.
Terry's his middle name.
Got it.
So
same person.
The same person.
Same person.
Same person.
Just a different code name, because I got,
That's
y'all
just
threw
what.
me into a tailspin.
That's just what rolled off
You
my
know,
tongue.
people that complain about code names, would it really change their life if we said Joe Smith? Do you know who Joe Smith is? No, you don't. The code name is a easier way to remember.
Well,
people.
hold on. The one guy that's complaining about the code names he's in the fishbowl. He is part of all the code. He's come up with a couple of the code names.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I just
if
wanna
the
make
names
sure
mattered, I would give the names, but they don't matter.
I got you. You're getting mad at me. I'm about to get it anyways. What I'm saying is, I don't know. I didn't know who Mile High Terry is, and I don't know
Well,
who
we've got it
Brovy
solved.
is.
Well, Brovy is, he just explained, is a friend.
Right, he's not local. To be clear, he's not
Okay.
local. It's you will have
He's not in the
potentially
fishbowl.
your first out-of-state listener.
Okay.
No, he'll be one of the legions
Okay.
of out-of-state.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Statman, can you define legions? I mean, 2 or 3.
I will define legions for you and say that
We've got at least one in Wisconsin.
Yep.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I didn't get to
You know,
answer.
you need one of those
And-
maps they put up at restaurants.
Yeah.
Like, hey, push
Oh
your
yeah,
push
put a
pin.
pin. Yeah. Put a
And you
pin
know,
where we have
Canada,
listeners.
Canada,
Ooh,
big downloader.
Justin Trudeau.
Yeah.
Tuning in,
Yeah.
tuning in every week.
Eavesdropping.
Yeah.
Please
And,
don't listen.
You know, you know, we run the gamut. Belgium, Germany, Australia. You know, we're worldwide. So we appreciate everybody that does listen.
Legion is a unit of 3,000 to 6,000 men in the ancient Roman army.
Maybe we got half a legion. Yeah,
Yeah, half a legion.
went a little far on that one.
I didn't get to answer the luckiest question, but I will just say that
Go ahead.
we're gonna get the
Oh,
Did
yeah.
You Hear Me podcast is gonna start giving out 1776 T-shirts and We the People, because that's what it sounds like. But I'm down for it. Get rid of them all.
Well, man,
Get rid of them all.
sorry to keep everybody here so long tonight, but running up against the. But you know, I was listening to a sermon because we didn't go to church this morning, so we listened to it, and the pastor made a comment about, like, aren't we lucky to be an American? I was like, ooh, what a controversial statement is what I initially thought, and then I was like, where are we at in the world where I thought in Athens, Georgia, that would be a controversial statement, because his point was, on your worst day, you still have your worst day in the United States of America.
That's true.
So you
Well-
should feel fortunate, which is a good point, because having your worst day in, I don't know, Haiti right now is not really.
Well, to be fair, there are lots of other countries in the world that aren't Haiti. You know, there are lots of other countries in the world that are at least comparable to the United
correct,
States.
but it's not
of
like he's
America.
talking
It's
to
all
a
like-
mixed crowd of countries. It's
Yeah.
like he's talking to Americans.
The Swedish Prime Minister
talking
is
to-
not at the church.
No, he's talking to Americans, and he's saying, you know, you're living in America. So if he would have had this sermon in Sweden, he said, you're living in Sweden.
Right. I got you. I'm
But-
trying.
But why? Anyways,
All right,
I thought
listen.
that was odd that was controversial. It wasn't controversial. That I have to think. I wonder if somebody was offended by that, because it's not offensive.
Yeah, I don't want to cut the legal eagle off, but Patriot, when did we lump all, like, DMX and I are never going to have, like, I'm going to make an outlandish analogy just to make a point,
Okay.
okay?
I like it. All right.
May he rest in peace.
Should have
Yes.
stopped just a
DMX.
minute ago. It was a minute too long.
He's from Spartanburg County, South Carolina.
Okay.
R.I.P. Him and I are never going to be in a room together. Never were, never will be. Obviously, he's deceased now. What I'm saying
maybe the
is,
pearly gates.
right. I hope he's waiting for me there, and I hope I make it there. But I still loved his music, and what I'm saying is, all we've done as a country now is we just throw the baby out with the bathwater. Meaning, I have to agree with this person like I'll use something that everybody had an opinion on, kneeling for the anthem. I don't think any of us are going to support kneeling for anything, really.
Tying your shoe.
To tie your shoe. Great, thank you, Sleezy. But we never turn the game off, right? So that person can have a differing point of view, and I can still appreciate whatever talent they have, et cetera, et cetera. And we should be able to, and I am not making a political statement here, but I will give Tucker Carlson a ton of credit to say he sat down with Chris Cuomo knowing, only reason I love the conversation is because these are two people with probably vastly different views on things, got in the same room, nobody killed each other, nobody punched each other, discussed it, respected each other, and moved along. Like
that's how it should be.
Where do we go from we the people to now, if I don't agree with everything you do, every waking moment of your life and every breath you take, I can't support you like that.
That's right.
No one is ever going to be able to hold that standard. So it's, yes, I am politicians are terrible, drain the swamp, all that. Yes, I'm that. I'm very conspiratorial, as everyone already knows, but we should still be able to be patriotic. That should never be that should never be a buzz.
Supportive of each other,
correct,
even if we don't agree.
Right. This is the greatest country on earth. It doesn't matter who's running it or whether I agree with them or what their views are. That patriotism and some stuff in this country should be hands-off issues, meaning they stay the same.
Legally.
It sounds like what the sheriff's trying to say is, how do we go from we the people to y'all gonna make me lose my mind?
Man! Oh, man!
That's what I took away.
Yeah, that was perfect.
That's a mic drop.
That is.
Okay.
Man.
We're gonna wrap up on that. We're gonna wrap up on that. That was a good. That's a way to sum it all up. We appreciate you being here tonight. Thank you for taking time to come.
Is he gonna up in here?
No.
Glad we got lots of DMX fans. Well, are you a DMX fan? Or
I am a
DMX
fan.
Good, man. I like it.
And I'm a fan of the story of his personal life. It's very entertaining. I don't agree with it, but it's very entertaining.
Right.
He's like a crack soldier for God.
Yeah.
So, anyway, anyways, myself on that one.
Yeah.
We appreciate you being here. I appreciate everybody listening, and thank you, Pack and Sheriff, for coming every week. We appreciate that.
The legal was awesome.
He was very good.
Man,
very good. He brought it. I knew he was going to be a great guest, and he delivered. So thank you very much.
Thank you guys. It's been a pleasure.
Your mom's going to be very proud when I tell her about it.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day.
And just keep this in the vaults for when the eaglet gets of age. And let him know that his dad was somebody.
He's not going to be hearing about Seneca or Joe Paterno. He's going to hear about the sheriff.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, the clan the clan of which the legal eagle hails from has a epic dry sense of humor, and that's what I was looking forward to.
That's right. So I appreciate everybody listening. We'll be back soon, and I don't know. Thanks everybody for listening.
Let's go ahead and I'm fired up.
All right. See y'all next time.